So if you're considering selling a home, chances are the thought has dawned on you to sell your home for sale by owner. My name is Matt Stone. I've been selling real estate in North and South Carolina as well as Florida for the last 17 years, and my team and I have sold over 2,000 homes. Today I want to share with you what I think some homeowners should be on the lookout for if you are considering going it alone and selling your own home, some pitfalls and some things where I commonly get calls from folks saying, I'm in a jam, help us out, we're for sale by owner and the deal's gone sideways. I want to share with you some things that you can be on the lookout for and prepare for now, as opposed to waiting until the transaction is already underway. So stay tuned, we're going to go over a few pitfalls and a few tips that I have for you using my experience selling homes throughout the Carolinas. The first thing, if you're considering selling your own home, that you want to consider is how much of your personal emotion you can keep out of the transaction. And this really starts when it comes down to presenting the property in the market. Does the home have any sort of features that are negatives? Are there anything you can do to improve the property in an easy way to sort of glam it up a bit and make it resonate better in the marketplace? Your goal is to make the property appeal to the widest swath of people possible. So properties that are intensely personalized or have wild colors, these are things that typically deter buyers and kind of draw the market down for your property, which is never a good thing. So if you can kind of remove your own individual bias and your own goggles and look at your home as if it's the first time you're ever seeing this property, that's really the best way to go about this. And this is where a good agent really comes into play, helping you get ideas for decluttering, or if the home is empty, connecting with a great staging company, things like that, getting the property ready for the market in a way that presents it again to the widest swath of buyers possible. That is really number one as far as your goal list goes when it comes to getting the home ready for the market. The second thing that you want to consider is how unbiased and how realistic you can be when it comes to pricing your home. Are you able to sit down and crunch numbers and easily determine a market value based on comparable sales in your neighborhood? Or is your property more unique and has some very unique features that are going to be hard to price out? In cases like that, it may be worth hiring an appraiser to come out and value your property. We'll see appraisal costs range in the $600 to $1,200 price point, depending on the size and complexity of your individual property. That's money well spent if you are considering going it alone and you do have a very unique property. So pricing and presentation are two of the, I would say, non-starters for a lot of people. They cannot remove their own personal lenses, their own personal bias from the equation, and that really will become a detriment now and throughout the entire process. The next thing you want to consider is paperwork. You do not want to wait until you have an offer in hand to be reviewing an offer to purchase contract for the first time. That contract is long, it is wordy, and the other agent or the buyer who is presenting it to you is not going to want to explain it to you as an unrepresented seller. So you'll want to make sure that you have studied that North or South Carolina contract backward and forward, and you understand what you're going to be receiving along with all addendums and disclosures before it's time to receive them. In the case of the North Carolina property disclosure, if you as a seller do not provide that to the buyer or the buyer's agent, the buyer has 5 days to walk from the purchase contract even after it's signed. So you want to make sure that's all provided on the front end and you're not giving folks a reason to walk away from your property. Your number one goal once you're under contract should be to stay under contract. You do not want your property flipping from active or pending to active and back to active. You only invite a bunch of questions when it comes to buyer's agents for your future buyers wanting to know what went wrong. That's something you definitely want to avoid. So you've got pricing nailed down, the property's presenting well, you've got photography lined up, and you're doing this in a professional photographer. You do not want to do camera phone photography. You want your home to present in the best light possible. And you've also got the paperwork down. So you understand the 3 Ps. You've got pricing, presentation, and paperwork all nailed, and you're ready to go, and you're hitting the market. So once you receive that offer, you then begin a negotiation process when it comes to the purchase. This can involve the buyer asking you to remove things or include things, so be prepared for that. Very rarely does a contract go off in a very vanilla manner. There's always some sort of strange ask or circumstance that you as a seller will want to know and get the background on. Does this homeowner have, or does the buyer have a home to sell? Are they a contingent buyer? Are they not disclosing this contingency? Have you called their lender to verify that they're indeed a well-vetted and well-qualified borrower? These are all things you're going to want to do before going under contract. Once under contract, know that there is a repair negotiation that goes on. This happens even in new construction homes. We see repair requests being made. So be prepared for that. Have your own vendors lined up and know that the buyer's agent is going to come to you with their own vendors. Oftentimes these are more costly vendors. You as a seller are going to want to move really quickly to get your own vendors out there to also bid the work, verify the legitimacy of the repair requests, and be up for those awkward conversations and negotiations. And you as a homeowner do not want to conceal things. Be forthright with the buyer. Let them know what's wrong. Make those fixes even before you list the property by getting a pre-listing inspection. So repair negotiations can often be where a deal goes sideways and where we often as an agency get the call saying, help, 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 what do I do? This is happening, is this ethical? Is this person behaving properly? Is this normal? What should I do? And we will give that advice out and help folks out. But I'll tell you, being able to really gear up for gauging what a normal inspection report looks like is a challenge. The next thing that the buyer is going to do is also an appraisal. This may happen before the inspection or after the inspection. We see appraisers that come in with a very low valuation. So knowing the dispute process, how to prepare comps, how to prepare your own analysis to say, this is what you've overlooked on your appraisal, please take another look at it and give it a review. That can be successful. Knowing when the appraisal is so far off and so inaccurate that we should request an entirely new appraisal be done. Those are things that as an agent, we're able to bring value to that equation to help keep deals on track. So repair negotiations and appraisals, those could be really sticky issues mid-transaction. Something else to consider is, are you moving out of the property? Do they see boxes are packed? Have they already seen that you've vacated the property? Because that's only going to increase the buyer's ask when it comes to that repair request. So know those things, and if you're well equipped with pricing, presentation, paperwork, repair negotiations, and appraisal, you should be well equipped to sell your own home. The biggest challenge is removing your own emotions from this equation. Taking off the glasses of this is my own home and it's perfect and it has all this stuff and we love this home and we've raised our kids in this home. That can't be the lens with which you view this transaction, because the buyer and the buyer's agent, the buyer's inspector and their appraiser, they're all viewing this in a very transactional manner. They want to make sure that they're getting the best property for their client, that there is minimal issues wrong with it, and if there are issues, they're being addressed by the seller or negotiated out in a manner that's fair and equitable. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please feel free to give it a like. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section below. And as always, if you have any questions about buying or selling in the Carolinas, please reach out to my team.